Hey, we're currently live from Tampa, Florida right now. One of the spots of the country has their eyes all about regarding Hurricane Irma. And we're not here so much to talk today about Hurricane Irma. It's definitely going to get brought up, and that's really kind of the point and the topic of how we came up with today about how hurricanes affect real estate. So we've got a really great episode for you today. Stick with us. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Time, we come to you live. Hurricane or not, we're coming to you live to help you get a better understanding of the technical side of the real estate industry. And a lot of you guys that may be in the real estate industry right now are probably wondering what's going on with this storm. How is this affecting my business of the storm? So what I want to go through today, and this is a live stream here. It's a live session, so any questions you guys have on any of this stuff here, any of the more particulars that I'm not covering, feel free to ask those questions. Anything it is that you don't quite understand, or maybe you have a question about something particular, definitely send that in, because I'm sure there's other people just like you that have that question as well. But what I want to focus on is, okay, so you're a real estate professional now. How does this affect you? How does this impact the real estate market? How does this impact your business before, during, and after? So 3 different stages I want to cover here: before, during, and after. And so right now we're definitely in the before stages of the current scenario that we're in right now with Hurricane Irma. And whether we get to a during and after depends on the trajectories and the tracks. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on with that that basically is going to have that going like 300 miles in a different direction. So only time will tell when we get to this during or after, but it's always good to be prepared. Not just prepared for your safety, but prepared for your business, of how this is going to look for you. So when you count on real estate to make you money. So you're seeing a lot of stuff right now. You've probably been to the stores. You've maybe been to the gas stations. I went to go get gas last night, and so the first gas station I go to, their credit card readers are down. I'm like, I'm sorry, is there a storm already going on? Apparently their credit card readers are down, their satellites are down. I don't know anybody that uses satellite internet. Apparently they do at major gas stations. So I was like, okay, not going to be able to get gas here. So I keep on driving. And look, I didn't want to get gas. The reason I was getting gas is because I had about 15 miles before my car was completely empty and it was going to shut off on me. So I kind of needed gas to be able to get to our office today. So I was stuck having to get gas. So first gas station, no dice, credit card reader. I went to like 2 different machines, went inside to find out, okay, eventually, yeah, their satellites are down, it's not working. So I go on to another gas station. This next gas station, there's a line of people at this gas station, and I'm like, I'm not going there. I'm not going to wait in the line. Let me go to this other one up the street. So I keep driving, get to another gas station up the street, finally find gas that's like $4 a gallon. But I was like, oh, whatever, I don't have time to keep going to this. So I fill up my tank, because I don't want to have to go back and have to deal with these crowds and these people again. So, I fill up my tank, so hopefully I'll be good for about a week without needing more gas. But anyways, so we're in the before stages right now, and kind of the before stages, this is really where it's the worst for the panic and the pandemonium, and a lot of this comes down to not knowing what's going to happen. Even the world's best meteorologists don't know what's happening in these before stages, what it is that's going to be in this during and after, where this hurricane actually ends up going and what it's leaving behind. So we're definitely in the before stages right now, and again, even highest level meteorologists, they don't know what's going to happen. So imagine how the general public feels, and that's why there's water being sold out, there's gas stations. I have a friend who was talking to my girlfriend this morning, and she was saying that she was driving around to all these different gas stations, and they were all sold out of gas. I'm like, wait a minute, I paid $4 a gallon, but you're telling me that they're sold out of gas now? So there's a lot of that going on. So now let's talk about the important things that you probably already heard before. And this is more legal things, so make sure you're safe. If there's some sort of order to evacuate, then get out of here. Don't kind of stick around, and definitely be safe. Don't put yourself in any sort of danger. If you're wondering about it, it's better to be safe than sorry. Make sure you're stocked up and all that other stuff. I mean, worst comes to worst, you end up with a bunch of water and extra food that hopefully won't go bad. Maybe some extra gas, which that usually doesn't go bad for a while. But let's say now, so these businesses, the gas stations, the grocery stores, all these different businesses that are really reaping the benefits of this crisis here, of basically selling out of all of these products it is that they have, okay, they're doing good. Now, on the real estate side, on the other hand, it's really not great for us, because if somebody was thinking about buying a home, or and we'll talk more about the selling side of this, but somebody thinking about buying a home, they're like, okay, let's wait, let's see if these homes are still here in the after stages. So when we're in this before stages now, what can you do to and I don't want this to be taken the wrong way, but really there's so much you could do in the before stages. And I'm not talking about going out there and making money, because that's really not quite an option for you as a real estate professional, unless you're going to go out there like selling bottles of water or something like that. But now, what can you do during these before stages that will help make you look like the person they look to? So remember, in the before stages, we've got the panic and the pandemonium. So this is where everybody's, and the reason why they're panicking is from not knowing what's going to happen. So people will look to people with knowledge. They look to the meteorologists. They look to the storm preparation experts. So and now you're not automatically a storm preparation expert, but you're an expert in homes. You're an expert in real estate. So you'll probably have some good tips, some good advice of how to prepare for the storm. So, and what I'm talking about here, I mean, yes, you can see how this is going to increase your exposure. And a lot of you guys tuning in today, finding out about hurricanes and how this impacts real estate and whatnot, you could use this, because again, you're not going to be making money during these before stages. I mean, and there's this little box that and kind of a cutout of the map of Florida, and there's a little bit of Texas over here, and then some of the islands. Anytime we get some sort of storm inside of that box, they shut down all the insurance underwriting. So even if you did have a contract, if that insurance isn't all squared away ahead of time, that's where they shut stuff down, and now you're not able to close on a property, so it ends up delaying you. So what can you do other than sit aside and sit around and panic? It's kind of like on the airplane when they say, oh, put your mask on first, then help others. Well, that's what you're doing, making sure that you're prepared. But now, how can you help others? A big part of being able to help others is sharing your expert information. That's what we do every Wednesday here, 12 noon Eastern time on Ask the Instructors. We share our information with the world. And you could share your information with the world as well for maybe some sort of storm preparation checklist, because what you want to do essentially is be the knowing. You don't want to come across that you're panicking, even if you're telling people that they need to evacuate it, and that's not necessarily your call to make. But even if you're saying something where, hey, look, there is a disaster coming, we should get out of here, say it calmly. Don't go in there panic and say, oh my God, this is terrible, the world is ending, because you're not helping anybody. It's the leaders that rise to the occasion that are going to be seen by the public as somebody, wow, this person is a leader. And we're going to talk about what the during and after stages here look like, and how you can continue to be positioned as that leader, so when we get to the after, once everything is all settled and we're back to business as usual, people will remember you as the person that helped people, that helped guide people, that helped inform people leading up to the storm. So some good things, whether it's you're sharing these on social media, you're sending this out to your email list, whatever it is that you're doing. And you guys should be taking notes on this right now as we speak, because this is all stuff you guys could implement right now. This storm doesn't look like it's hitting Florida by the current projections until Monday. So this is a great time for you to be able to share this information with your clients to say, hey, look, these are some things you should do. Make sure you've got your pool furniture taken care of. Make sure you've got your windows boarded up. Make sure that there's nothing loose out there. If you're in some sort of metal construction or wood construction or anything like that, you should probably find a place that's going to be safer. Having a generator, all these little tips and factoids that you could find that's going to, again, make you be the person that knows. People will look to you. And what they'll do is they'll see you as a person who cares about people. And yeah, in the long run for this, in the after stages, this is going to definitely help out your business. But all this is a lot of work for during this. I mean, yeah, you could just as easily take a back seat to all this, just be part of the panic, part of the pandemonium, and so on and so forth. And yeah, you could still resume your real estate business after the fact, but this is a way to kind of help serve your community. In the real estate space, and I've said this before, it's about people helping people. And that's what you're doing here. No, you're not going to be directly compensated. You're not going to get a commission for helping people in this case here. But when you're out there, especially disseminating the information, or maybe you're hosting some sort of drive or something like that, something that's giving back to the community, because that's the place it is. That's where you want to position yourself in a scenario like this. Okay, what is it I'm doing to help lessen the panic in the community, to help people understand what's going on, to help people be safe, to help people survive a potential natural disaster. So that's what you want to be doing in the before stages. Again, you don't want to be too crazy for this stuff here. And this is stuff that you could be proactive as we enter into hurricane season, or as hurricane season progresses. You could be proactive about this stuff and just send out checklists ahead of time. And then when something like this does prop up, send that out again, whether it's through your email list, or maybe you have current clients that you're working with. Don't forget about those current clients. Hey, send them a text message or give them a call. Hey, it's John. Don't worry, I'm not talking about the scheduling a showing today. But look, I just wanted to check in with you guys real quick. I'm checking in with all my clients just to make sure that they've got a plan, that they're safe, and they're going to look at you and they're going to go, wow, this person really does care about me. And now you might be saying, well, isn't that a waste of my time? No, it's not. You're building a relationship with your clients. You're making sure that you're sharing your advice with them and your expertise that you have, and you're making sure that they're going to be safe, because this is going to get morbid here, but a dead client isn't any good for you. So even if you're the most cynical person and you're like, what do I don't care about people. Hey, look, at least just try to keep them alive. So, but that's not what I'm saying here. You want to come across as genuine, that you do care about these people. Hey, look, I'm just checking in with all my clients here, making sure that everyone is going to be safe. Everyone has a plan. I sent you an email checklist. Did you get that? That's really important. It's a comprehensive checklist that walks through a bunch of stuff to make sure that your home is prepared. Whether you're staying in your home or you're leaving your home during this storm, you definitely want to take a look at this and go through something like that. That's really useful and really effective to send out. Again, you're not getting direct compensation off of this. So much of effective marketing in real estate isn't about always saying, hey, you want to buy a house? Because if you're before a storm coming, you're saying, hey, you guys want to sell your house, and they're worried about whether or not their house is still going to be there, that's not going to do you any good. So this is an effective way to kind of help continue to be that because what you want to do with your clients, whether there's a storm, a disaster or not, is that you want to come across as a person. Because again, the whole thing, people buy people. So if you're coming across as somebody who doesn't care about them, who doesn't care about their clients, they don't want to have anything to do with you. But when you actually show some emotion and care about them, and this stuff can be trained to do, even if you're a very unemotional, very non-caring, nonchalant type of person, you can learn how to do these things. But that's our before stages of this here. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to go into the during and after stages here. Very important for what we're going here, how we can kind of segue into this stuff you need to know about hurricanes and about real estate. I want to give a quick shout out to Georgia tuning in, commenting in. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're getting some things useful out of today. If you guys have any questions on any of this stuff here, maybe you have some suggestions or things you want to share with the other viewers watching with that, make sure you put that in the comments. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching the Hurricane edition of Ask the Instructor. Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrismo with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com. Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor, the Hurricane Irma edition of Ask the Instructor. And what we're talking about today doesn't apply just specifically to what's going on currently and what could be in this. Before we went on break, what we were talking about is this: we're in this before stage right now, and even the top meteorologists all over the planet don't know exactly what this during and after are going to look like yet, unless you're in those like Leeward Islands, Puerto Rico, and things like that. Okay, we're pretty much at this during stage for it right now, and actually kind of getting into the after for some of the further out islands with that there. But as what's coming to Florida, what's kind of heading our way, if anything's heading our way, or what that may look like, we're in the before stages with this. So again, as a real estate professional, your job here isn't to sell real estate, and in most cases when we have these tropical storms within a certain amount of miles of the Florida area, it shuts down your closing, it delays your closings, it turns off your ability to get insurance underwritten for property. So it really kind of puts a lot of your business on hold. So what can you do in the interim to ultimately, in the long run, help your business by having a good public image and building goodwill, building a good image with your clients and making them look at you again more as a person rather than a business. And then just ultimately, like I said, you're breaking it down to making sure that you're coming across as somebody that's knowledgeable. Now, Logan sent in a question: where can you find the checklist? So I was talking about these checklists that you could send out, or this information, little tidbits of information. Look, I'm not telling you to go out there and write a checklist. Don't go out and reinvent the wheel. There's already tons of safety checklists out there from lots of reputable organizations who are designed to help for preparedness and whatnot, whether it's the National Hurricane Center or any of these services where you can find it. Just Google something, find something from a reputable place that looks good, and then you could share that, whether you're sharing it on social media, whether you're sharing that through emails or anything like that, to help show that you're knowledgeable and with this, and also to help your clients and make sure that their real estate is protected as well as their lives being protected. And what I also would recommend doing is, again, reaching out to your current clients, whether it's a text message, a phone call. Hey, look, I just want to check in with you guys, make sure you had a plan, that you guys are going to be safe and you're going to survive this storm 100% and so on. So whatever it is that you're going to say with that, but just something to have a personal touch where you're still staying in contact with your clients. So that's our before stages. Now let's transition a little bit into the during. So during the storm. Well, what do you do during the storm while this is going on? Well, if this storm is heading right for you, and now we're in the during the storm aspect of that here, this is where you want to get under cover. You want to be protected. There's really not much you could do for your business if we're in the during aspect of this here. But now, what happens when, let's say we're in the during aspect here, but it's not directly affecting us? So let's say, for example, with this Hurricane Irma, the latest projections they have is it going up the east coast to Florida. So, and again, these are still projections. They don't know if this is what it's going to be, but let's say this is what it does turn out to be, where it goes up the coast of Florida here. And here we are in, kind of forgot about Tampa Bay there. Kind of. So we've got Tampa over here, and the hurricane's really kind of rolling along here. What's going to happen to us is, yeah, we're going to definitely get some rains. We'll probably get some pretty heavy winds. It'll probably be a pretty crazy storm, but nothing really quite so much as if we were being directly hit. Like the East Coast over here is definitely not going to fare very well if it comes up something like that. So if we're here, maybe we're close to it, or maybe we're up in the Panhandle here. Maybe we're up kind of in Panama, or maybe you're in another state. with all this here, so what you could do in this during aspect. Let's start with first, if you're not directly in the storm. Because if you are directly in the storm, let's say if it is coming here and you're maybe in the Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Jacksonville, Daytona, all these little cities that are all kind of along the coast there, that's where I'm not the person to talk to listen to about what you're doing during. This is where, again, you want to go to those checklists. You want to go to those safety procedures. You're probably going to end up getting evacuated if you're in certain areas with that stuff there. So, and with during, I mean, this is more so, all this, the least common denominator of this here, and this will help your business in the long run, is kind of being the good Samaritan about this here. Helping expand your client's knowledge and your potential client's knowledge, making sure that you're kind of a leader in the community. You see a lot of these insurance commercials. There's lots of insurance commercials going on right now, and they tie directly into this scenario. And these insurance companies, they're not out there saying, hey, look, get your insurance now, because no, it's too late. If you don't have the insurance now, they're probably not going to give you insurance. But what they're doing is they're showing, and you've seen a lot of these, a lot of them in particular that I've seen that really kind of stood out. State Farm's got some really good ones. Travelers Insurance has got some good ones. If you go on the Weather Channel and watch these commercials before they roll their actual videos in there, you see a lot of these insurance companies there. But the messaging it is that they're coming across is, hey, we're being good Samaritans. We're being leaders in the community. We're helping give back. We're helping rehabilitate this area. It's showing people with, helping put blankets around them, getting some coffee, and all that other stuff, basically, of what's going on there. So that's kind of more segueing into the after stages of this here. But with the during, if you're not in any present danger currently in this during phase, you want to probably think of, okay, how can we help out here? Maybe we're going to start some sort of Kickstarter or donation thing if we really want to go above and beyond and try to help the people that may be victims of a storm like this. And that's absolutely something in the during aspect of this here. You're not getting direct business off of this, but it is helping you have a better image. And ultimately the biggest win on all this here is that you're actually giving back and you're helping the people who are part of this. So with the during stages, really not too much. But now let's jump down into the after, since we've been talking about that quite a bit in these after stages. And going from the general consensus of this here, in the during stages, the panic tends to go down. You don't have people running all over the place, probably because they're either hunkering down or they had left. So the panic and the pandemonium, that's definitely in the decrease when we're in the during stages. And when we think of the after stages here, now unless somebody has been injured, because then the panic would probably be still pretty high, or something like that, then this is generally where it dies down. You typically have a rolling effect of this is where the most panic is, and then it decreases when we get to the after, barring certain circumstances. Still very dangerous at that point there. And it is important, again, being that knowledgeable professional here, I mean, you could be sending out updates and information. Hey, look, here's a safety checklist to make sure that that your house is prepared. Hey, these are the areas that are being evacuated in the during aspect of that here. And yes, there already are other channels. There's news stations, there's the government, there's all these channels that are pushing out this information. And it's just like, if you think of like how Facebook works, for instance, and it's all kind of built on like the sharing of information. And that's all you're doing there. You're just trying to make sure that your clients get this information. You see, okay, this is relevant. These people live in this area here. I want to make sure that they know how to prepare, how to evacuate, if they're going to evacuate, maybe something that you're sending out kind of leading up to this. Do you know if you're in an evacuation zone? Do you know if you're in a flood zone? All kinds of little piece of information here. You could relate it into real estate. And again, that's going to make you look like a knowledgeable professional in the real estate industry. So, but again, offering the information, and that's one of the easiest things to do out of all this stuff here. But you truly are helping people, because you're making sure they get messages that it's going to help them get prepared, help them be ready to evacuate if need be, and so on and so forth. Now, moving into the after stages of this here. And we talked about like these fundraisers and things like that, and you don't necessarily have to start one yourself. You could maybe piggyback, because you know there'll be stuff with like the Red Cross and things like that. You could send out information like that says, hey, look, if you want to help the victims of this hurricane or this tropical storm or whatever natural disaster it is. We're talking today, the topic is hurricanes in real estate, but whether this is, an earthquake, some sort of wildfire, a mudslide, anything that's some sort of disaster, maybe people are getting snowed in. We really don't have that in Florida, but if you're watching from other parts of the country, more in the north, that's definitely an issue when we get into the colder months. So it follows a lot of these same stages of this here, depending on the severity of whatever storm or natural disaster it may be. And again, there's still a way to build up your presence, and so that way, once everything's returned to normal, people are gonna remember you. They're gonna remember that you're the person that helped them, even if it's just helping them by giving them some knowledge to make sure that they're safe and that their property is safe. They're gonna remember who it is that you are. Now, moving into these after stages of this here, once everything, kind of clears out, if there was a direct hit, that maybe will delay your closings. There may not be a house on there anymore to even close on. That's where you want to look into your contracts for like the wording that's in there about natural disasters and things like that. But as we move into these after stages here, this is where we kind of start to go into this here. And like I said, with the advertisements or anything it is that you're doing out there, it's where you want to gear towards, okay, what do these people want to hear at this point? The people that just survived some sort of hurricane, as soon as it's over and we get the all clear that everything's okay, do we immediately want to go to say, hey, do you want to sell that house that's flooded? No, that would be in pretty poor taste, and that's not going to look good for us here. So again, you want to try to find ways and be creative of ways that you could help the community. And yes, you're not going to get compensated for this help. I mean, unless you have some sort of community service requirement it is you have to meet. Maybe that's the only way you could be really considered to be compensated for this year. But it'll definitely pay off in the long run because it's helping establish you as a knowledgeable professional, somebody who cares about their community, and somebody that's willing to be there other than just for the actual sale process. That's where realtors get such a bad name sometimes, is because they'll be looked at, and this isn't everyone, but there's a lot of real estate professionals, not just realtors, but whether we're talking about mortgage or insurance or anything like that, or any sort of sales where the person is just there for the sale, and then all of a sudden once they have the money, they want nothing to do with you there. So when people have that reaction, that's when they see anybody that's related to any sort of sales, whether it's real estate or cars or anything like that, that's where they're like, oh, salesperson, yuck, they're a terrible person, they have no soul. No. So again, you want to come across and show your compassionate side and whatnot. If you don't have a compassionate side, try to build one up a little bit. So you could ultimately come across as somebody who cares about their community. Now, talking more about these after stages, again, disseminating this information, there's a lot of stuff that's still important in the after stages here. And depending on who it is that you're giving this information to, if you're giving it to people that were in this area here, hey, tips on returning to your home. Or maybe if it's in an area, and maybe we're in a situation like with what happened in Houston. So what happened in Houston, where there are a lot of people that were stranded in their homes while they're surrounded by the flooding and so on and so forth. And one of the big warnings about when we have like these floods and whatnot, like we had in the Houston area where there's all this water, is it's very dangerous. It's not like you're in a swimming pool or even swimming in some sort of lake or anything like that. There could be electrical wiring, live electrical wiring in that water, and you could get electrocuted very easily with something like that there. There could be all kinds of dangers lurking, and even if you know what the land looks like after a massive storm like that, you don't necessarily know what's beneath you, so you do not want to go in that water. That's why they're rescuing all these people via boats and things like that. So that's important, and these are safety tips that, again, they're out there. But are people paying attention to them? Have people been giving that information? If there's a person directly giving you that information saying, hey, look, these are safety tips. Hey, John, how are you doing? I hope you made it through the storm safe. You and your family made it through the storm safe. Look, I want to share this really quickly with you guys here. And again, for your more personal contacts, the ones that you're maybe working with currently, the ones that you know a little bit better, you'll probably already know whether they evacuated out of the area or they stayed in that area there. And maybe for the people that are staying in the area, they're like, hey, I'll check on you guys after the fact. Stay safe. Make sure you do this, and that, like my checklist set or anything like that. But this is how you can be very proactive in not only the marketing, because I don't want to make this so much of that, hey, we're just trying to market everything we can and be very smart about that. No, a lot of this comes down to how it is you're giving back to your community. And one of the easiest ways, again, to do that is by disseminated knowledge, disseminating information, whether it's you're just sharing some sort of video it is that you found about hurricane preparedness or some sort of checklist or anything it is like that. Find something that's reputable, that you like the message that's in there, and then share that with your clients and touch base with your close clients and say, hey, how you guys doing? I just want to make sure that you're safe here, and so on and so forth. And when you're coming across like that and you're not talking about getting referrals or sales, or when they're looking to sell or anything like that, they're going to see, okay, this is a genuine person who actually does care about me. I won't mind paying this person a commission when we're ready to use that person, because this is a person that truly cares about me. They didn't have to contact me during the storm or before the storm or anything like that. So again, it makes you come across as and even if you are a compassionate person, you have to go out there and share that compassion with the people it is that are around you, the people that are in your business, because those clients should matter to you. Without these clients, there'd be no business on your part. So you should absolutely care about them more than just the actual business going on. We're going to take another quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to be talking more about how to prepare in a hurricane situation, how this affects the real estate market. That's definitely something I want to touch on with this here once we get kind of into these after stages of that here. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, so stick with us. If you guys have questions, put those in the question section down below in the comments in the chat. We've got those loaded up here, and we're ready to answer any questions it is that you have. But other than that, we'll be back in about 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrisma with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com. Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
I have done for my love.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. I'm John Chrismo, and every Wednesday, hurricane, tropical storm, natural disaster or not, we come to you every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time into your phones, into your homes, into your tablets, computers, small screen, big screen, whatever it may be, to help you understand some more of the technical side of the real estate industry. And like what we're talking about today, how to prepare for a hurricane. This isn't something that's covered in your pre-licensing course. We talk a little bit about, the environment, but it's a very small portion. Nothing as in-depth as what we're talking about today, but this is good stuff to know, and it's very relevant for what's going on currently. And like I've been saying, if you're in real estate now, if you have a real estate business or any business related to real estate, or I would even go so far as any business in general, you could absolutely be implementing the things it is that I'm telling you guys about doing today. In the real estate industry, it's not really going to get you business today, because once we kind of, again, get into that little box of the area where when we have a tropical storm or hurricane within that area, it shuts down the insurance underwriting and all that other stuff. So it's not ultimately going to help you out today. People have higher priorities than selling their house or buying a house, but it will, again, help you, number one, give back to the community to make sure that the community is safe and secure. Number two, make you look like a leader, somebody who knows that just knows, let's just leave it at that, that just knows about things, whether it's hurricanes or real estate or whatever it may be. You could add your own personal flavor to this stuff as well, but again, you want to share this information and disseminate the knowledge. So like I was talking about now, and you guys can feel free to share any of this stuff with any of your real estate friends or even if your clients if you'd like as well. But what I want to talk about now is how this affects the real estate market. So what do we have that happens when we have some sort of hurricane or any sort of tropical storm or natural disaster, whatever that may be? And basically we have to ask these questions and this is good for kind of the preliminary stuff here of planning this out. And again, you don't want to kind of jump to conclusions, but it's good to have this in the back of your head of, okay, there's a storm coming, there's whatever it is that's going to occur, especially with a hurricane. Something like this that could be, that's almost a week out, a week in advance, that you have all this time to prepare and be ready for something like this so that you're safe. I mean, really, with as much lead time as there is, there shouldn't be any sort of casualties or fatalities or anything with this much notice that we have. Even if it is kind of up in the air still, it gives plenty of time to prepare and be ready. So let's just talk about, the sales as far as transactions going through. So how does some sort of something like we have now with Hurricane Irma, if this were to hit Florida, or how this is maybe kind of going to fare with areas like Puerto Rico or anything like that? So we've got our transactions, and we'll have before the storm, during the storm, after storm, and then back to normal. So we've got this kind of timeline that we have here. So, okay, what's going on before the storm, during the storm, after the storm, and then once we're back to normal and everything, is business as usual. So as far as our number of transactions, once we start getting right before the storm, that's where things shut down. So everything's kind of shutting down here. You might be able to kind of get some of your kind of deals that just have a few steps to go finished up, but typically not going to be the case. The insurance company shut down the underwriting and so on and so forth. So once we get to this point here, we're pretty much, especially during the storm, we're not having any business. We're not having any transactions going on during the storm part of this year. Now, after the storm, once everything's kind of got the clear and the go-ahead, that's where you'll start to see a slight rise of this here. And really, these are the transactions that are backed up that are starting to kind of get pushed through. And then once we get to our back to normal stages, and it depends on how severe it is and what the market's like and everything like that, but we might even recover further beyond what it was like before the storm. So really, this hurricane, although it may cause massive devastation and destruction, it could even be a stimulus to a particular area. But there's a lot of factors that play into that on whether or not this could be something that does ultimately, in the long run, once everyone's safe and so on and so forth, that this ultimately kind of helps increase the real estate industry somewhat. So to talk about this, let's talk about money a little bit and what happens with money. So in the currency system that we live in, so with what we have with currency, so imagine what's going on. And the big thing where a lot of money is getting spent right now is people going out to the stores, maybe buying water, buying food, buying these things that they need to prepare for. And so we have the people buying these things to prepare. These are going to the store. That's causing money to go to the stores. Those stores turn around and can now spend money. And this is just one kind of cycle of this here. There's a lot of different ways the money recirculates like this here, but this is really good for understanding how even devastating things like natural disasters or wars or anything like that could almost stimulate the economy. So we've got the people here buying these goods. So buying goods, I'll do this in a different color. So we've got the people here buying goods. That's money going to the stores. The stores are buying advertising. They're able to buy advertising, And when they buy and purchase advertising, that's now turning around and giving the advertisers, the advertising companies, revenue. And these advertising companies are turning around and they're paying people. So the company itself isn't keeping the money. There's no company in the world that doesn't pay people when it makes money, whether it's just employees or the officers and directors, whoever it may be, that turns around and now that's money to people. Those same people might be the people buying goods, buying supplies. They could be maybe buying plane tickets. They're maybe buying gas so they could drive out of town. They're maybe buying lodging and accommodations once they're out of town. So it's this whole kind of circular system where the money kind of spirals around like that. And that's why they call this a currency, because like an electrical current, the way an electrical current works is you have power that's sent from the power company. It goes into your business, into your home, wherever it is that you're using power. It goes to that. But this is why your power cords have two plugs on them. One is sending the power. The other one is receiving the power. So it's circulating through. And yes, there's some loss, and there could even be some gains in some cases with that there. And that's the same way money works. Just like an electrical current, our currency cycles around like this. So what happens ultimately, and yes, it's terrible if any sort of homes get destroyed. And that's why, again, it's important to make sure if you're in an area that needs to be evacuated, even if you're not being told to be evacuated, it is important to kind of make your own judgments, even if you're not told, to say, okay, well, do I want to stay here? Am I going to be safe here? And especially if you are being told to evacuate, that's where, okay, you want to make sure you're safe. But now once the people are safe, the things, the houses, the whatever it may be, yes, it kind of sucks if your home gets destroyed, but that's just a thing. It's ultimately much more important that you're safe, that you're still healthy, that you survive the storm. Okay, the house didn't survive it. That's not going to hurt the house's feelings. The house doesn't have feelings. But ultimately, and that's why insurance exists. That's why we have insurance programs that cover this here. And what happens ultimately when we have something like this, so again, we'll take the same type of spiraling situation here. And the way insurance companies work is you have your consumers, again, we'll just say people. This could be businesses as well. Businesses could have insurance, and they're paying money to the insurance company. And what ultimately happens, so they're paying these premiums over and 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 paying these premiums. I mean, we haven't had a major storm like this in Florida in years, in a very long time, if this does ultimately end up making its way to Florida. So it's been quite some time for this here. And what that means, and yeah, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would opt for paying premiums for the rest of their life and never have to worry about making some sort of claim. But the reason why people are willing to pay those insurance premiums to the insurance company is, okay, there is a disaster. That's where the insurance company is supposed to, in theory, and sometimes it's a little bit harder in practice here, they come back around and, okay, this is now reimbursing the money. That's taking all this money they've paid in premiums, and, you know, maybe they just took out the insurance program last year, and they're the big winner on this here if they haven't been paying on this insurance program for long. But the reason why the insurance companies exist is they're able to charge enough premiums to be able to cover the claims that are made, as well as pay their people, as well as usually turn a profit as well. And they're absolutely necessary, because without the insurance companies, if there's some sort of home or structure that gets destroyed, you're completely out. Yeah, you might be saving some money by not paying insurance premiums, but typically you end up as ultimately you're getting reimbursed more than it is that you paid in with this here. So when you're paying this money out to the insurance companies, they come back and they cover any sort of damage, destruction it is to the home. And again, there's limitations on the policy it is that you may have, but in theory, this is supposed to cover that loss of the home. So ultimately, what ends up happening now, and with these insurance companies, this usually will go across state lines. So maybe we have Florida here, and who knows, this is maybe a insurance company that's based out of New York. So what ultimately happens when you're paying these insurance premiums, especially if they don't have any Florida-based offices or anything like that, that's all money going out of the state to other areas of the country, and that hurts the Florida economy. But when we have one of these claims being made here, that's taking the money from the insurance company back from that other state back into Florida, because that money for that house, I mean, yeah, the person might just take the money and say, hey, you know what, I'm just going to not have a house. Probably not what's going to happen here, but they're going to have that money, and that's going to help. That's money that's going to be reinvested in real estate in Florida. And we're going to have newer real estate. It could even be bigger real estate than what was before. So yeah, this is definitely the light at the way end of the tunnel, especially if this is a terrible natural disaster that's going on here. But ultimately, like I said, that's why when we get into those after stages, we might have a more significant increase in the real estate market. And this is really kind of the stimulus that's going on here that's ultimately impacting the real estate market and causing those, because when we have a newer home versus an older home, that causes the property value to rise. And now this is the oversimplified, very theoretical side of this here, because there's a lot of factors in the real world, whether it's with the insurance companies' policies or whatever. Maybe they're not a good neighbor, so to say, like State Farm. They kind of go about, oh, we're the good neighbor. Yeah, we're more expensive, but we're a good neighbor. We're going to make sure that you're covered and protected and whatnot. There's a lot of technicalities you have with the insurance companies, and that could end up complicating this process. Maybe you don't get the full value or anything like that, but in theory, this allows you to put the money back into the property. And who knows, maybe you're saving up, maybe you want to put even more money into it, build a bigger house. But even if it's just a newer property, that's going to be worth more typically than an older property. So yes, that does ultimately, and we get into the after effects of this here, this ultimately could have a stimulus effect if we have some sort of destruction. If there's not really much destruction, then there's not going to be any of this here. But whether it's flooding that occurred or wind damage or whatever it may be, and a lot of these things are possible. That's why, again, it's important to kind of heed any warnings that are out there and make sure that you're being safe with this here. Again, this goes back to the before stages of how you can help this out. Maybe you're kind of explaining this process to people after the fact. Maybe you're connecting them with a good insurance agent to kind of explain this process and whatnot. And again, this is good information to disseminate to your clients, even when we're kind of at the beginning of the hurricane season or kind of as this rolls along and so on and so forth. So, really good stuff to know and to really understand what's going on and how this could impact your business. We're going to take another quick commercial break, but we're not done yet. Stick with us. If you have questions, put those in the comments. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor.
Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrismo with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com. Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
I have done for my love.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor. Every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of Ask the Instructor. We do this every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time to help you get a better understanding of the more technical side of the real estate industry. This show we created to help our students get overall that better understanding, because you talk about a lot of stuff in your pre-licensing course, even the post-licensing and broker licensing and broker post-licensing, continuing education. I mean, you're constantly learning in the real estate industry, but there's still so much to learn. I've yet to see some sort of course curriculum or anything like that really kind of ties all this stuff together with something current like we have going on right now. So this is, again, very important if you are in the real estate industry now, or even if you're thinking about getting in the real estate industry. This is good stuff to know for when this does happen again, when there is some sort of impending tropical storm or even another hurricane or anything like that that has the potential to come at a place like Florida. So, and really, again, this could be relatable across the country, whether it's not just a hurricane, but maybe it's an earthquake. Maybe not so much of a before stages with that, but that's always good stuff to kind of, hey, these are earthquake safety tips. If I were to move to California or someplace that's prone to earthquakes, I would have no idea what to do. I think getting the door frame is the kind of go-to with that there. But why that's so important? So I'm a Tampa native. I've lived in Florida my entire life. And I know what it's like going through hurricanes. I know what it's like going through tropical storms. I know what can be expected. I've lived through them. But not everyone in Florida has that same luxury. Not everyone in Florida knows what it's like to live here while a hurricane is going on, or even while a tropical storm is going on, or while there's flooding going on, or anything like that. I've lived here my entire life, so I have firsthand experience about this stuff here. But again, Florida is kind of a melting pot of people moving from all over the country to Florida. Yeah, there are a lot of Florida natives, but at the same time, there's so many more people that are moving to Florida from other parts of the country. And let's say, you live out in the Northeast somewhere, and up until we had the Hurricane Sandy a few years back, they really didn't have much idea of what it could be like for a hurricane whatsoever. But there's lots of other parts of the country where they don't really understand what it's like being in a hurricane. They just see what they see on the news or hear on TV or on the radio or whatever it may be. So if you have any sort of knowledge on this, which you absolutely should, you should always be trying to increase your knowledge in the real estate industry. It ultimately makes you a better professional. So when people ask you, oh, what is this going to do, this storm going to do to the closing on my property? Or what do you think this storm means? Because there's a lot of homes that are still on the market right now. There's still showings going on right now. There's still people that are interested in buying homes. Definitely a lot less than what would normally be going on, because again, we're kind of in those before stages where you have the panic and whatnot. But with that, so many people don't have that knowledge. Like I said, if I were to live in California, I would look for somebody to tell me, okay, here's what you do. I've survived through a lot of earthquakes. Here's what you got to do to make sure you could do the same. I'm listening then, especially when you have something like this that's relevant, when you have a topic, okay, this is something big. Yeah, people might not normally open your email newsletters, but if you send out an email that says Hurricane Irma safety tips or hurricane safety tips or something like that, they're like, oh, look at this. I recognize that guy. I recognize that girl. I recognize this scenario. I know that Irma person. I know that Irma storm. So they'll click on that and they'll want to read that. And yeah, your job here isn't to try to sell. And there's the expression, always be closing. Yeah, but when it's relevant. You don't want to always be closing. There's a time to close, and there's a time to also be a person, to come across as, hey, I'm a person. I have a family too. I know you have a family. I want to make sure I would be devastated if anything happened to my family. I feel the same way for yours if something were to happen to you. And that's why, again, sending out and disseminating this information. But again, you want to know it's kind of planning for your business. As we get kind of closer to the end of something like this here, this is where you want to kind of figure out, okay, what's going on here? What's the damages? If we're in an area that's been devastated, that's going to push off this kind of after part of this year. This after part is going to be a lot more slower coming, but again, we could see a greater rise with the stimulus coming in through the form of these insurance claims and things like that. And again, it does depend on the market, because there's been a lot of areas that have been affected where this kind of stimulus thing doesn't really happen, where yes, there is money coming in for insurance claims, but maybe this isn't something where this ultimately benefits the market. And you're wondering how could something like this benefit the market? It can, if it's the right kind of market. If we're in an area that's high in demand. If it's high in demand, and yeah, the storm might have some sort of effect on that demand, but that demand ultimately will come back. or it should in a lot of cases here. So if we take some of these other storms, like one of the big ones, and this is going a few years back, the Hurricane Katrina, and how that was, such a devastating storm, and how there was such immense flooding, and how so many properties were destroyed, and that there's still places today that are still destroyed by this here. But they did experience a lot of regrowth, a lot of rebuilding, they got a lot of attention on the area. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't have exact statistics on this, but saying that most areas in Florida are going to be more desirable than New Orleans. Yeah, New Orleans is definitely a fun place. I've actually never been to New Orleans, but I hear it's a fun place to go to. But ultimately, you don't have people as much saying, hey, I want to move to New Orleans as they do, hey, I want to move to Florida. So we constantly have that influx from all over the country. And yes, something like this is going to slow down. People aren't thinking right now, boy, I want to move to Florida. They're thinking, oh boy, I'm glad I don't live in Florida where I have to deal with something like this here. But ultimately, once the storms passes, they go back to seeing people having fun in the sun at the beaches and job opportunities and things like that. People go back to thinking, okay, yeah, Florida looks like a pretty good place, and it looks like they survived this storm all right. So that's where we more so have the stimulus having a possibility of that to occur. Again, that won't always occur, but that definitely could be a possibility. So just a couple final notes of this Hurricane Irma episode of Ask the Instructor. And that comes down to, so the final things I want to leave you with is, number one, be prepared yourself. You want yourself to be prepared and ready for this to make sure that you're safe. If you're on the airplane and the oxygen masks come down, you don't get up and start running around putting on everybody else's oxygen masks and don't worry about yourself. You're just going to ultimately end up killing yourself. You want to put your oxygen mask on first, make sure that you're safe, that you're secure, that your family's safe and secure. But now once you've done that, now you could go out there and helping others, even if it's just sharing information about, hey, how to be prepared. These are the areas, these are the different levels of evacuations and things like that. Most people don't know these things. You'd be surprised how many people it is that you talk to, and whether it's just they've lived in Florida and they don't really care, they don't really seem too concerned with this, or maybe somebody that's new to Florida that's just in a panic and they can't really kind of get a grasp on anything because they don't know what's going to go on. That's where the uncertainty and anxiety starts to build from not knowing something, not knowing what the outcome is, especially when you really care about controlling as much as you can. I like to control everything it is that I can, but I know I can't control everything. And a storm like this, there's no controlling that. I mean, barring some sort of secret government program they have to steer these hurricanes, maybe that's what they're really doing with these hurricane hunter planes, who knows? But there's no way to control that. No way for us to control that. And maybe the government or some secret New World Order thing has some sort of way to steer these storms. I don't think so, but who knows? There could be something like that, but we don't have any ability to steer these storms. We don't have any ability to control something like that. What we do have the ability to control is, again, being prepared, our safety, and then also we have the ability to help. We can't control other people's safety. We can't ultimately make somebody want to leave or evacuate or do any of these hurricane preparedness things. But even if they don't want to do that, they'll see it, oh yeah, thanks for thinking about me. I've been through these hurricanes, these storms before. I know I don't have to do any of that stuff. I'm just going to sit here next to my window and watch the storm come in. And if they want to do that, that's okay. You just got to give them the information and say, hey, look, here's the things to be safe. I strongly urge you to take these actions here. Know your evacuation zones, whatever information it is that you could give out. Again, ultimately be that good Samaritan. Maybe you could even help out again in the aftermath of this stuff here too, where, okay, there's some sort of disaster, there's some sort of something going on. Okay, what can I do to help others recover, to help others get back on their feet? Whether that's, even if it's just something as simple as, passing out waters or coffee or anything like that you could do, whether you're volunteering or, again, the easy road for this is, again, just disseminating more information. Hey, here are the safety tips for when you're returning to your home, or here are the safety tips. Maybe explaining the whole eye of the hurricane type of thing. Just when maybe the things seem calm, you might just be in the middle of it. You're not necessarily in the clear for that there. So all stuff that's important to keep note of and keep track of, and ways that you could kind of, again, be creative about this here. Yeah, you're not going to get any immediate sales or transactions out of a disaster like this, but business is going to go back to normal. As long as you survive and your clients survive, you're going to go back to having a real estate business with a real estate market with people wanting to buy and sell houses. And what you could do is you could use this as an opportunity not only to help serve your clients and the general public, but also appear as a leader, as somebody who is knowledgeable and somebody that they would trust, because that's a big part in helping people buy and sell homes, is establishing trust. When you have established that trust, and this is a great opportunity to help establish trust for your clients, show some genuine concern for them, and they'll have genuine concern for you after everything has all settled down. But that's everything I've got for you guys this week. Hopefully you've got some actionable things that you could take away from this, you could implement right now out in with your clients. Again, the storm for Florida, the projections still put it way out to late Sunday, early Monday, so you've got plenty of time to kind of implement some of these things. Maybe send a checklist out to your clients saying, hey, look, make sure you've got these things all prepared so that way your property will be safe, and so on and so forth. But definitely implement something. Make sure you're safe, make sure your clients are safe, and make sure you tune in on Friday for State of Real Estate. We're still planning on doing State of Real Estate on Friday. You know, we're not going to have any winds howling yet out there. So tune in on Friday for State of Real Estate at 12 noon Eastern Time. Next week, on next Wednesday, on the 12 noon Eastern Time on every Wednesday. As long as we're still here, as long as we're still standing, maybe we'll have to make a makeshift studio if this isn't here anymore. I think it will be a pretty strong sound building it is that we're in here. But other than that, again, stay safe, and I will see you guys Friday. Are you thinking about a career in real estate? Hey, I'm John Chrisma with the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we've helped thousands of people just like you obtain their real estate license. If you're thinking about a career in real estate, give us a call. The phone number is 813-928-0106. Our advisors are standing by to answer any questions you have and assist you in any way they can.
Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com. Does your current career allow for unlimited income potential? With a career in real estate, the sky is the limit. What you put in is what you get out. Find out more about how you can tap into the unlimited income potential of a career in real estate at tampaschool.com.
I have been for my love.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
Ask the Instructor every Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Time. I'm John Chrismo. You're watching Ask the Instructor.